All right, welcome to this lesson on graphing quadratics, and we're going to look specifically at vertex shifts. So how we move the vertex around and how the graph changes as we do that. Okay, I'm going to keep it kind of simple, but before I begin, I'm going to talk to you about a couple things that are fairly important, and that's the standard step values. So we talked the other day about what this means, and essentially, if I'm just going to do a little quick review. Um of this. And what it means essentially is that if we have a vertex, then we know that this is the vertex. The step values tell us we go over one, up one, and then over one, up three, and then over one, up five, and so forth. And this creates this sort of curve that we get right here. And same kind of curve would be done on the other side. It's what we call symmetrical. Over one, over one, up three, over one, up five. And we end up with a curve that goes like this. And I really ask people try to draw your parabolas not like a V like this, but more like a U. Make your parabolas more curved like that, okay? So parabolas don't really kind of make like, they don't come down and go like this and have a point. That's not a V like in a vertex, it's actually a U. Should have called it a U-tex, not a vertex, but they didn't, okay? So this is what the standard step value is, and this is what I taught in the first lesson on introduction to quadratic equations, okay? So I'm going to erase that and I'm going to continue on and I'm going to show you how we can move the vertex. So yesterday we started with y equals x squared and the vertex was 0, 0. It was right at the origin. And so today I'm going to do a couple of examples. And so before I begin, I'm just going to scroll down so that we can just see the parts we need to on the screen. Well, just give me a second here. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is y equals x squared plus 1. And what this essentially does is it pushes the vertex from 0, 0 up to 1. It's really simple, okay? And this means the vertex here is going to be 0, comma 1, okay? And there's my vertex right there. Now, before I begin, I should always label my graph, okay? Just remember this, always do this. There's marks awarded for doing this, and if you don't do it on your assignments, you will lose grades. Once I found my vertex, though, okay, the x and y are labeled, arrows are on, I can then graph my equation, okay? And in this particular case, it's 1 over 1 up, okay? 1 over 1, 2, 3 up, 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. And that's all I really need to do. I don't need to get crazy and do 7 and 9 and all that stuff. Sometimes I only tell kids just do the first two and I'm okay with that. But I have room, I did 3. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. I go 1 over 1 up, 1 over 1, 2, 3, and then 1 over and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that gives me my general shape. And now I can draw this here. I can draw this right in here and go like that. Okay, and then I put my arrows on, and you can see I just freehand drew that. That's fine. You don't have to make it perfect, but it does look like a U, not a V. Okay, and I'm ready to go. Now I noticed something here. I need another line, row below to do the next one. So I'm just going to insert a row below. I'll make sure that yours has this. In fact, I'll insert 2 rows. All right, just to row below on my grid. So I did that. I'm going to erase my arrow there at the bottom. I'm going to put my new arrow down here. I'll make sure your graph that you have for your note, if you're following along with the note, has this. But now I look here at y equals x squared minus 3, and what this is going to do is it's going to move my graph down 3. And so my vertex is now going to be 0 and minus 3. And so I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and this is where my vertex is going to be. Beautiful, okay? It disappeared on me, so I'll try that again. No, it's going to disappear again. no, if for some reason it doesn't like me, it wants to keep running, hiding. There we go. I think it's going to stay now. And now from here, I do my steps. Okay, so 1 over, 1 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. And that's probably enough. And now I can do the same thing on the other side. 1 over, 1 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we call these the step values, okay? And now that I've got those in, I can draw my line, or I should say my line, my parabola, okay? So I draw like this, and I kind of try to go right through each of those points. I try not to make it a V the best I can, and I put my arrows on it, and I go like that, and it looks like this. Now I can label each of these graphs as well. I should get in the habit of doing just like lines, so I label this as y equals x squared plus 1, and this one is y equals x squared minus 3. Sorry, not 1, but minus 3. And that's really as simple as it can be. It's really a very easy way to just graph your parabolas using these step values. And you got to remember that 1, 3, 5, and so forth. Okay. Now, one thing I'll notice, you'll see that I wrote on here y equals x squared plus q. So we give a letter, a variable letter to it, and we call that number q. So whatever we're going up or down, we call it q. And later on, we're going to talk about the vertex, and we're going to say q is the value of q in your equation is your vertex, okay? Now, you're going to see the other half, how we can shift the equation from left to right or side to side. So, this is a different way of shifting it. So if you would go down to the next set of examples, where this is about moving the equation or the parabola from left to right or side to side if you prefer. Okay, so just let me get to this one. All right, a little drink of water. Now you'll notice that this is different. The last time I had y equals x squared plus a number or minus a number, this time we put the number inside. And this one's very different in that what's going to happen here is, I'm going to label my graph first, okay, is that number actually changes sign to tell us which way it shifts. This is the tricky part. So my vertex here, you would think it was going to be minus 2 because it was going to shift it to the left too, but it doesn't. When we make it minus 2, it actually shifts it to the positive side, and it's kind of tricky, and I'm not going to get into the details of that. All I need you to know is that when that number is minus, it shifts it positive. So the vertex becomes plus 2 or just 2 and 0. And that is kind of nice because I can graph this now. So the vertex is x is 2, y is 0 right here. And there's my vertex. And from here, I can graph it. I can go 1 over, 1 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. And so that creates the 1/2 of that parabola. Now let's do the other side. 1 over, 1 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3 up. Now, I lost my dot there. I'll put it back. It's going to go away on me again. Try it again. There we go. 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Okay. And now I've got all my points for my parabola, and it's just a matter of me drawing it. And I'm doing this with a pen on a laptop screen, and I'm making these pretty good. I'm kind of proud of myself. I thought it was going to be way harder. So that one is done. And I'm going to label this, and I'm going to go y equals x minus 2, and all of it is squared. Okay, so now it's x minus 2 and all of it is squared, and that's what this parabola does. All it did is shifted it to the right or to the positive side 2. Even though this number was negative, it shifted it to the positive. And I'm not going to get into a lot of detail on how that all works. I just got to Trust me on it, okay? Now when we do one that's this, x plus 3 squared, so y equals x plus 3 all squared, this, the vertex, is actually going to be minus 3 and 0. It's going to shift it to the negative side, the exact opposite. So what we do is we go x is minus 3, 1, 2, 3, and y is 0. And I can graph this one as well. 1 over 1 up, 1 over 1, 2, 3 up, 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. And then I can do the same on the other side. 1 over 1 up, 1 over 1, 2, 3, and 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we now have the dots to make this parabola, and I just got to draw it in. And so I'm going to draw it nice and steady with my hand and come up here, and then don't forget to put your arrows on the end, and then I'm ready to label it. And I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna say y equals x plus 3 squared, and that gives me two equations that I have shifted, one to the right and one to the left. And really the key thing is that it's opposite sign there. Now we call this letter P, okay? But our vertex is really V equals negative P, or the opposite sign, comma, Q. And that's what our vertex will be. Q came from the previous one, and P comes from this one. And this allows us to quickly pick up a vertex and graph some equations quite nicely, okay? So I'm going to move down and do a couple of examples where we shift in both directions, okay? So, well, I could probably use a little bit of extra room here, so, well, don't have it, but I'm going to leave it like this, okay? So what I'm going to do, first thing I do is I'm going to graph these two equations, okay? I got one equation here and I got one equation here. I'm going to label them when I'm finished graphing them. First thing I do is label my graph, okay? So put my arrows on, okay? And then X and then Y. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify the vertex for each. So that's the vertex for this one. The x value of the vertex comes from here and the sign changes. So this is not going to be minus 1, it's going to be plus 1. And this is going to give me my y value of my vertex 2. So there I've got the vertex of 1, 2. So let's plot that. So x is 1, y is 2, 1, 2, and there's my vertex right there. Isn't that beautiful? Sometimes I like to label my vertex. I'll even go like this. I'll go 1, comma 2, and I'll just say that. That's my vertex. Make sure that looks like a V better, okay? Then I can plot from here. 1 over, 1 up, 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And now, did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I did. So now I go over to the other side. 1 over, 1 up. Okay? And that's right on the y-axis, but that's okay, right? 1 over, 1, 2, 3 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. And now I have my points and I can draw my parabola. Okay, and again, just using my steady hand, going through the points, nice and easy, around the bottom, back up, and arrows. Try not to make it look too much like a V, okay? And now I can label this. I can say that's y equals bracket x minus 1 squared plus 2. And I got that right there from the question. That's the question that I was asked to graph, okay? Now, let's do the other one, okay? Vertex is going to be bracket, well, not plus 2, minus 2, and my other value doesn't change signs, it's minus 5. So it's really important to remember that the x value comes from in here, but the sign changes, okay? So, and the y value comes from here, but it does just stays the same. It doesn't change. Okay, so now I can plot this vertex. So it's x is -2, so 1, 2, and down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, oh, that'll probably disappear on me. Yep, there it goes. Let's stay with that. Okay, I can label my vertex. Okay, it's -2, -5. Make that a better minus. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on here. I didn't like something I did. Okay, so that's a -2. If it doesn't, let me try to fix it. There we go, a little better, -2. Now let's go back and plot our points. So 1 over, 1 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3 up. 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. I'm kind of in the middle of this one, but that's okay. I'm just going to run over top of that one. 1 over, 1 up on this side, and 1 over, 1, 2, 3 up, and then 1 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. And now I have my points and I can draw my parabola. And I'm going to draw it right down to here, come back up, cut, and I put my arrows on. And now I can label this graph with y equals bracket x plus 2 squared minus 5. Don't forget the little squared. It's very important. If you don't put the squared in, then it's not really a quadratic anymore, right? It's not. It needs that square to be a quadratic. And that's two examples of what, questions you'll see in your homework on this unit, where we're shifting the vertex up and down and moving it around, but we're always still using the same step values. The next time that we talk, we're going to actually start to change the step values. We're going to do a couple different things with the step values so that you'll see how that works. All right, enjoy your homework on this unit on shifting the horizontal and vertical axis of the quadratic equations.